100 years. So it's a lot of time. The difference is because the tiles made in the factory, like these ones, they are made of cement. Cement breaks with cold or heat. While the handmade tiles, they are made of clay. Clay has water inside, so it expands with cold or heat. That's why they last for much longer than the tiles made in the factory. We are in Portugal, where we have nice food, really good food. And we love fish. Actually, I kind of like fish, but I prefer shellfish. And my friends, if you look here to the right hand side, you see this black restaurant here with a black rooftop, Ramiro. This is the best restaurant for shellfish. But let me give you a tip already. If any of you are going to Cascais, the best restaurant, it's also a black restaurant. When you enter Cascais, walking with your tour guide, you're going to see the restaurant on your right hand side. It's in the front of a garden. That is the best seafood restaurant that you can have in Cascais. The food is really amazing. We are getting into this square that we call the Martí Muniz. Start looking to your left hand side, because we are about to see the castle on the top of the hill. Oh, I love this screen, really. So this square has the name of this soldier, one of the soldiers of the castle. One of the soldiers of our king, Afonso Henriques, the first king that the Portuguese had. When our troops arrived here with the Crusaders, oh, they are doing a dance. When our first king arrived here with his troops and the Crusaders here to Lisbon, he did not invade it immediately the castle, because the Moors were smart and they closed the gates of the castle, of the city, so you cannot come in. So our king, he waited patiently to the left hand side of this castle. There was a soldier that was surrounding the castle. When he saw that the Moors were opening one of the doors, and this soldier called the Martí Muniz, he sacrificed himself in the middle of the door. So this was how the troops of our king were able to invade the castle, because of that soldier Martí Muniz. Look at the trams to the left hand side, our public trams. I never advise anyone to do the public trams. The only reason is because we have a lot of pickpockets nowadays in Lisboa, and they know that people love to ride those trams. And when we go to those trams, we look like sardines in cans. So it's very easy for us to pickpocket us. So just be aware and not to use the public tram here in the city. And this is Figueira Square. Figueira means fig trees. We used to have tons of fig trees here. Now we only have cars. And look here, we have this statue. This is my favorite king. This is King John I, the king that started to rule Portugal in 1385. And you see this big building in front of us, in front of the statue? This used to be an hospital. Now it's much more important. This is the second biggest area in Europe. The departments for clothes. Don't worry, man, if you go with your wives, you have some nice, comfortable sofas over there to sit and wait. This King John I, he was married to this British lady called Philippa of Lancaster. That's why we have the oldest alliance still nowadays. Look to your left hand side. You can see the main street of the downtown. Look to the left. You see the Triumph Arch, the statue over there, and that is the square, the Comércio Square, the main square of Lisboa, that is in the waterfront, in the river. And we are here, look to the left hand side and up. Do you see that church with no ceiling on the top? Do you see it? Perfect. So that church is the Carmel Church. That church was built in 1385 when that King John I started to rule Portugal together with this British lady called Philippa of Lancaster. You know that the Portuguese and Great Britain, we still have the oldest alliance in the world because it's from that time, 1385. That church has no ceiling because of this big earthquake that we had in 1755. Let me rephrase this, not a big earthquake. This was a devastating earthquake. It was a 9.2 earthquake that affected our city. After this, we had fires, we had a tsunami coming inside of the city. A tsunami that was so strong that was also felt in Brazil. So imagine this, earthquake at 9:15 in the morning, the 1st of November. The thing shaking, people started to run because the buildings were all falling. Now we see everything is so wide, but Lisbon was not like this. Lisbon was like a maze, houses built in front of houses all together. So people were running towards the water so they could be saved. And then the tsunami comes and kills everyone. This was the biggest disaster that we have here in Portugal. Supposedly, we have big earthquakes like this every 250 years. We think that in 1969 we had a smaller earthquake. We had a 7.1 earthquake. Only 13 people died, so not a lot. We believe the tectonic plates, they will lift a little bit. That's why we are not expecting another big one like this, because supposedly we should have one in 2005. Fortunately, we had none. So the downtown was this area here to the right hand side, and this was all rebuilt after the earthquake of 1755. So everything is very, very new. And this happened at the time that we were being ruled by this king called Joseph I. Look at the streets that now they are so parallel, so straight, because his prime minister, Marquis of Pombal, he decided to rebuild this city as an earthquake-proof city. What do I mean by this? Is that he wanted to build a safer city. So all the buildings inside, they have this wooden structure that in case if we have an earthquake, the buildings will not fall because they have wood inside, and wood expands instead of falling. How smart was this? From 1755. Very smart. In the middle we have the square that we call the Rocio, and on the top we have the man that was our king, Peter IV, also known as Peter the First Emperor of Brazil. This man was the man who gave the independence of Brazil. And look to the right hand side, and we have this theater that is called Theater Mary II. Before this was a theater, this was the Inquisition Palace. To the right hand side, if you see the Star of David over there on the floor. So that is there because we had a huge massacre of the Jewish community here in Lisboa in the first half of the 1500s. Look to the left-hand side, and we have here this beautiful train station that used to be the train station that connects Lisboa to Paris, a very romantic town. Now it connects the most romantic town of Portugal, which is Sintra. Sintra, the most romantic town of Portugal. And after the Rocio Square, we have the Restaurador Square. So for the ones who are not going to do Cascais and Sintra, you are returning back here to Restauradores. This is the only place where the buses can stop. So you see that store over there, Mango, to the left hand side. So that is where the buses stop to drop us, and then you go on your own here in Lisboa. That is also where your bus is gonna be at 8 p.m. Okay?